Thank you for visiting. This is Glenn Livers with the Prolific Press Poets. It's August 2025, a very small group today due to a technical difficulty. We're going to kick things off with Gloria Caviglia.
Hi, everyone. So I took the prompt from 2 months ago about summertime and stuff like that. And this is called Summers Are Not for the Old. Summers are not for the old. Wrinkled bodies flaunted on the beach with their incessant memories of when,
Just gonna test. Can
transcending
you hear
them.
me? Just testing one, two, three.
Oh,
I can hear you.
should I stop?
Let me just mute everybody here. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry about that.
No, is that okay? I'm going to start
Okay.
over.
Please, yes, please.
Summers are not for the old. Wrinkled bodies flaunted on the beach with their incessant memories of when, transcending them to summers of another time. Drinking cheap beer at the clam shack with boys who flirted themselves into frenzy, revving up 69 Chevys. Girls in too tight, too faded jean shorts cut just to the limit, flirting back and looking sideways in case their dads were watching. Boardwalks groaning with the weight of bicycles, ice cream eating families and lovers. The sting of summer skin soothed by ocean breezes. Stolen kisses behind the whirligig while waiting for the littles to go around just one more time. Setting sun, dusk into night. Memories that have no business being there. Summers are not for the old.
Summers are not for the old. Very nice. You can read up to 5. Did you want to have any more today? Not
Hey
today. Okay.
guys,
Oh,
sorry.
oh no, it was great. I loved it. It was a wonderful piece.
Thank you,
All right.
folks.
And we'll move to James Bethel, please.
Thank you, Glenn. Had to hunt for my audio thing. Um, I am James Allen Bethel, by the way, and I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in a small little cottage. And some time back, I referred to SAD, the seasonal affective disorder thing that normally happens in the wintertime, and kind of got up with me this summer. We had long stretches of 110 degrees and all that stuff. At any rate, it kind of drove me into isolation, and I started searching around for things that might have something to do with isolation and that sort of thing. And I came up with this piece that I put together after I ran across a quote of Neil Postman's. So he was the prompt for this. The title is Preference to an Ego, Part One. We're born into this world not unlike the pilot in The Little Prince, crashing into what might as well be a wholly barren landscape for all the light blasted confusion and utterly beyond knowableness. No wonder our first response is to protest vigorously, then to grasp onto the comforting softness of some much needed food source until we're sated for the first of many times, sated enough that we might begin to look around curiously in our first entry into the world. Glitter and sparkling distraction will become eventually a habit, and the source of objects that we insist on trying to fit into our mouths, noses, ears, eyes, all the while learning about what will become masturbation and playing with our toes. This was prompted by an observation by Don Marquis. When a man tells you that he got rich through hard work, you should ask him, whose? This is entitled Eleemosynary. So, when's the last time you encountered that word, eleemosynary? of, relating to, or dependent on charity, according to Webster. An adjective applicable to fewer and fewer, sufficient enough to make the evening news, sponsored by 16 messages each a half hour at last count, by limited liability corporations and advertising budgets greater than your public school's income, where you might have been taught, according to Roget, there are 163 terms in opposition to eleemosynary. This one is just a strange one that came out of the woodwork from somewhere. The title is Where Have All the Wild Things? Once upon a time, there used to be, perhaps still are, gremlins. Time was they lived in forests. These days, they've unionized. They take random coffee breaks indoors. They're in all of our electronics, including credit card machines, the occasional Tesla, and even in our iPhones. One can only wonder what it must be like to open up the executive suite at Google the morning after they've been invaded overnight by the same critters that mess with my Asus box, trying to override them when they've already taken the reins of my Windows startup and my Mac Safari. At least the Safari makes metaphoric sense as the jungle from which they came. I get it. I'm a union supporter myself. Giving gremlins the benefit of the doubt is necessary if we're going to continue exploring the wilderness. And I have one last one that, since Glenn said 4 or 5, this one I posted this morning as part of my blog, which, by the way, self-promoting, is entitled The Mailbox on Watercourse Way, and you can access it at jamesallenbethel.com. I posted this as One Can Dream. It's more of a prose poem, really. A perfectly calm morning in my Tulsytown neighborhood. No leaf moving, even at the top of the 60-foot sycamore that all but engulfs the house and large corner lot across the way from my small cottage. A random leaf just now moved by a bird coming and then going. A rare stillness to start another cloudy day with rain chances. Eventually, easy southeasterlies are forecasted to bring upper 70s and a bit of flutter in the leaves preparing for a golden fall. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you. It's very nice. Appreciate it. Okay. It's so funny. Gosh, it seems like so far a different life ago, but I took this poetry class that some master's student said try to use the word vampire in her poem, and the professor said you can't use the word vampire in your poem. There's just something about so much import of nonsense that comes with the word vampire that it's suddenly not poetical, and you just can't do that. Well, everybody has different opinions. This was what happened. And when your first poem had the word masturbation in it, and I had a poem years ago that had the word masturbation in it, and it was called An Exercise in Masturbation. It was a true story about when I walked into this pool hall when I was a kid. I had saved up a bunch of money, and I bought myself this big, beautiful pool stick. And I thought that I was going to be the hustler from the TV show, and then suddenly I realized that my car broke and I needed that money, and I had to take the stick back. And the guy behind the counter said, "This, son, was an exercise in masturbation." He made fun of me, and but he did give me the money back, and I had a poem about that so many years ago. So I guess long story to say you're very brave for using that word in a poem, and you pulled it off in ways that I probably never could have. So very nicely done, sir. All right. Emily.
Hi, everybody. My name is Emily. I'm on the West Coast in Oregon, and I sound awful because I've got a infection in my ear and my throat, and it's been there for weeks, so I'm still working on it. I have a few poems. Let's see. Am I allowed to share? Yes. No. Glenn, can I share the poems?
Yes,
So
you
people can
absolutely
look at
can.
them?
Yes, please try again.
Yes. Let me start with this one. As I was saying previously, I did some traveling this summer, over about 3,000 miles in the West, mostly desert. So some things came out of that. So here's one called Bare Desert Night. In the night, the light stretches thin to the far dark mountains between the bright flood lamp on the side of the gas station and the glow of 7 houses a dozen miles away, visible in the pale air against the dark foothills. In the middle, lit on one side, dark on the other, there's a single road, nearby an airstrip buried in sagebrush, weeds blowing against the fence, and a lonely vehicle parked in the empty plain with a tiny lamp, someone with a dog, perhaps. Now we see the gas station's single pump in the floodlight, then the road, airstrip, row of houses, far hills, rising black plateau, fainter and fainter. That truck lost in the evening, heat still rising, even at midnight. No relief, no cars, no voices, only stars. Okay,
Well, that was really nice. You know, as individual lines, you could teach a class on how well you lay those lines down. I mean, each line sort of has a meaning by itself. I mean, you just do such a good job of that. It's wonderful.
Thank you. I'm going to take a cough drop because my throat's going to start up.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
All right, let's try another one. Where? Oh, this one. Share over here. Okay, let's look at another one. Same journey. Prospects. The utter futility of young men without prospects, crawling up a barren mountainside with a pick and wood-framed gravel screen to loosen a few inches of topsoil, inspect it minutely, sigh, walk laterally across the slope, dig again, sieve a handful of dirt, wipe his dusty face with dirty hands, lead his tired horse another month, another year, hopeless until he is stooped, gray-bearded, one lean-to shack after another, left behind on the slopes, the streams running iron red, face blistered, hair the color of the dust now, never struck a lode, never found paying dirt or nuggets. The mountain slopes slashed, ragged, we can see the scars a century later, but the men saw only failure, energy wasted in the heat and cold, no prospects, no family, their names nowhere. Those claims offices all closed by 1920, records lost, old men buried in unmarked graves in hidden canyons. When you cross through Nevada, you see a great deal of old mining activity. Lots and lots of it. All right. Well, let's try something else that may not be from my recent travels necessarily. Called A Funeral in Spring. Sometime in April, the light coming and the light fading matches my rising and falling, the time of dawn and dusk equal to stirring and retiring, not dark before dinner or light still at 10 p.m., no flashlight for a morning walk or bright sun piercing the curtains, 9 cats pacing at the door before I even pray for summer storms, this time that fits neatly, day and night as it should be. The fresh light aligns with the timing of my world for a week, and a funeral is set for midday on Friday in mid-spring. Life balances with death for a moment, like light and dark. The sun should shine on us mourners in equal measure, with night's shade to remind us of spring, the equinox, the balancer, day coming on and leaving behind, waking and sleeping and death, funerals never conducted at night. And let me try one more, and I think that'll be enough for today. Ah, yes. Okay. This is called No Place. Death is some place, behind a garden fence, scattered in a cow pasture, at the seashore among driftwood, a storm's detritus carried away to an offshore canyon, sinking into blackness. The pauper's row with plain concrete markers is far down the hill, away from the marble headstones of pioneer families. In Rome, bones are often buried in layers, like buffalo remains piled at the base of river bluffs where they were driven to their deaths. Bones raised on platforms out of reach of wolves, open to the sky. Bones in desert caves wrapped in white sheets, beneath pyramids. Bone ash from pyres swept to the sacred Ganges. Some places you can see or visit. Kneel at the spot. Remember, pay respects. But sometimes one pasture is as good as the other, one beach like the rest, all oceans equal. Wind blows universally. You may pray anywhere. Death is no place. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Emily. Really, really nice. Something about that. Sean Murphy did that poem where he talked about bones, bones of my father singing from the, remember that? Oh my gosh. Something about the way both of you handled that in your work was just masterful. Doug Van Hooser, please.
Hi, everybody. I'm in southern Wisconsin. It's a beautiful day here. I'm going to try and screen share if I can figure this out.
There it is.
There it is. Okay. Let me move this document. Okay. Before the McDonald's and Starbucks drive-through, I've been wondering what it would have been like to own and operate Durge's cigar store in 1933. A 20 by 20 building with a drive-by window, a business of vice for the convenience of smokers, consumers of pints, and devotees of the charmers and Gloria's naked pose. Patrons paying in nickels, dimes, quarters, and half dollars, the occasional silver certificate dollar. A one-man operation located just off the square in Macomb, Illinois, you could reach by dialing a 1 and a 4. The hours Durge spent whiffing scents of Monte Cristo, Muriel, and White Owl, handing out bottles of Ballantine's, Old Forester, and the popular rye Old Overholt. Was Gloria under the counter? A respite to pass time between customers? My guess, the buyers were almost all male, with yellow-stained fingernails and breath of loneliness, men of breaking and broken bodies, buried imaginations. My grandfather, whose radiator repair shop's view was dirges. He spent his day inhaling eau de antifreeze, an inch of ash threatening to fall into the molten solder used to plug leaks. He and Dirge either used a bucket or hung a sign saying, "Back soon," to walk the block to the county courthouse. 50 years later, my father hands me a paper scrap with the safes combination. Another 20 years and I spin the dial left, right, and left. Find the Charmer and Gloria tucked inside with handwritten IOUs, notices of legal action, 2 gold coins, a fake Kennedy silver dollar, and 243 $1 silver certificates, his stash for the next depression. He kept photos of his 2 daughters and 11 grandchildren at home atop the piano, a fifth of whiskey in the drawer of the nightstand, his letters to Naomi, his wife who died at 23, in a shoebox under the bed. And this second poem, I'm sure you've, like me, you've run into these instances where you just seems like your creativity is gone. So this poem came from that. It's out of my No One Said series. No one said, become a slacker, fantasize, not execute. Let diversion become the road you pave. Cycling YouTube's political commentary, clips of 2.5 men. My eyes and ears have gone digital. Thankfully, no cat or dog videos, the noose my wife necklaces. How do I pull myself from the pit of there's always tomorrow? The carrot of don't force it, it will come. The elusive it papers my mind with blank sheets. The seeds don't root. Is there IVF for creativity? In the past, I used reading for artificial insemination. I bark up that tree to no avail. I try ekphrastic, but the paints run. Prompts stay one-liners. I'm left with complaints and excuses. The futility of writing this poem.
None of us know what that's like.
Yeah. I'm going to read this one for Emily. The fat lady virus sings. Illness has no melody, just shrill, dissonant notes that echo like a gong. I press the heels of my palms into my eyes' chambers. My throat a hive of stings. A rough water cough breaks into my chest. My fatigue refuses to nap, though I sleep and sleep and sleep. The pressure in my sinus wants to bunker bust. I am a sunken ship fathoms under the surface. Why do we name hurricanes and viruses? To humanize their evil? Pretend they're a friend? Who makes a bad decision? Admittedly, H1N1 is a name only Elon would give a child. But someday COVID may rank up there with Liam, Emma, Noah, and Olivia. I need to pile blankets in a drift, bury my shiver, not be the fish flopping on the shore, swallow some pills and beg for relief. If only I had the eyes of a beagle. Mercy would remove the gurgle in my chest, get me to 98.6. Then I could smile through the misery of lingering mucus and Kleenex, the blast furnace of an occasional sneeze, the ache and fatigue no longer my audience, the operatic virus's song sung, its demise lowers the curtain. And I'll read this last one here. I'm living in Wisconsin, but I grew up in Illinois. I pushed time uphill. Illinois is furrowed field after field of corn and soybeans. Yeah, the city of big shoulders still anchors next to Lake Michigan, but the rotator cuffs have tears, unrelenting segregation, invasive weeds of gangs and crime, politicians that maintain their windy and corrupt ways, though the dead have quit voting. Born and raised here like so many other corn-fattened heads of cattle, earnest as a sheepdog, grandmother polite, common sense my sextant. willing to walk into the wind, eager to retrieve the ball, loyal as worn out socks, able to exchange jabs and take turns rope-a-doping. I shuffle the cards I am dealt as seasons twist and turn. January bites, February munches, March a roller coaster, April a green leafy salad, May yolk yellow and shades of lipstick red, June a fireworks burst of color, July sweaty, August crackles and booms, September tassels, October moans the trees lost, November holds its breath, December winces, snow parades in the air. I slide, I shovel, the nights are patient, the days outguess me. Roots never forget the soil they grow up in. Thanks, everyone.
That's really nice. Hey, what was the name of that first poem that you wrote that you read again? I'd like.
The first poem I read.
I can go back to the video and grab it. I just was really, really taken with that one, and I would encourage you to get that one out there as in some award capacity. That was a fantastic piece. Yeah.
Before the McDonald's and Starbucks drive-through is.
Yeah, that's really, really special that you did such a good job on that, and it's something you'll probably never have heard me say to any of the groups over the years that regarding sending it out for awards, but I would say that would be one that I would be pushing if I were you. Okay, James.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm James Nicola. Under my picture, it says user. I don't know why, but because I think Regis should be up at Zoom on twice or something like that. So I have to turn it up.
Very
But make sure-
accusatory platform.
Sorry?
It's a very accusatory platform.
Yeah,
It says you're a user.
Right. It took forever wheels to turn to get on, and then I was on. I heard an echo and I realized, oh, did it twice. Anyway. Oh, okay. I too have my. So when you said 5, I just figured I was just in Europe 3 weeks, and I come back and find 5 poems have been accepted for publication. So I'll just read the latest 5 poems that I put in a file. So I can do a little. So I can do a little screen share also, and I'll just scroll up. Except one is long and R-rated, X-rated, so I'll skip that one. Let's see, how do you do share? We go share, then I have to go to I have nothing else open. Screen. It's got to be this one.
Yeah, we don't want to get banned on Facebook.
Oh, I'll scroll through it. So it's not that X-rated. It's just radical, And it has the word sexual in the title, which I never do. Is it coming yet? It says you are screen sharing. It's coming.
There you go. There it is.
All right. Participants can now see. Okay. This is going to be, and I'm telling you the names of the journals in case you want to find out, but I've been sending them stuff. Because when people mention them on these things, I go, oh, I didn't know that. When I write it down, I send them stuff. This is called After the Follow-Up Cup of Coffee or Lunch. It'll be in Palette Magazine, not Palette Poetry, Palette Magazine. There's 2 within some time. After the Follow-Up Cup of Coffee or Lunch. You realize that you may never see a certain someone, say, again. Neither said anything about it, nor is moving to the other coast, but you don't work at the same place, attend the same school, church, temple, or mosque, don't live nearby. One of you lifts and bicycles indoors, the other jogs and walks and bikes outdoors. So chances of your managing to run into each other by sheer happenstance are low. So, like so many I have known, appreciated, maybe even more. Another episode that fills the heart, makes it feel hollower at the same time. Just what it's like living in New York. You don't get that phone number, you're dead. There's the title of the other one. It's going to be an About Place, The Sexual Revolution in Divine Perspective, which I will not read. This one is going to be in the Quasar Review. I wrote it as a poem as well as prose. They're going to publish it as a very short story called Protected Species. 2 guys were fishing on Pier 84 one day as I was jogging, doing laps. Small crowd gathered when one caught a shark, a baby shark. Somebody from the crowd told them, "You gotta throw it back. The shark's protected. Any other fish is fine." The friend translated, but the guy who caught the shark, the baby shark, kept it. Next time I saw the friend fishing, he was alone. I asked, "What happened to your friend?" "Dead." "Dead?" "Yeah." "Geez, I'm sorry. And he was so young. How can that be?" "Mercury poisoning." Turns out, like swordfish, sharks absorb the stuff. Don't eat a shark that you catch. Don't eat a swordfish. Well, swordfish are okay now. And this one is going to be in Perch magazine, which is out of the Yale. Perch stands for something like H is health, so it's the medical school. But I was in issue 1 and now it's issue 7. They took another poem, Social Anxiety. I can gloss this by saying it's a true story, but I would never do that in print. Social Anxiety. Last Saturday, I went to a party and met a lovely person who said he had what he called social anxiety. When it was time to leave the party, we rode the subway together, Uptown D, and chatted the whole way. I could not see how anyone so wonderful could be anxious about a thing. I would gladly tell him so, but of course the irony is that he might take it as flattery or more. Kind words and compliments are free, no strings as silent scribbled poetry, but spoken could invoke anxiety. No, not in Mr. Wonderful, in me. Okay, and these are the 2 I was going to read that I practiced. And then when you turn to 5, I go, just go down the file. This one just got picked up by Caveat Lecture out of San Francisco. So, who's published me quite a few times before, and that's so nice. Packing. Last time I said goodbye, you said, "Don't go." That's why I've packed in silence through the night and let you sleep. It's for the best, you know. I laid my shirts and trousers in a row as I saw you do, packing for your flight first time we said goodbye ages ago. Then stacked them in this suitcase, thus and so, and saw, as far as packing goes, how right you've always been, my love. And now I know. Inverted sock stuffed shoes on top. Below, rolled briefs and such to stuff the corners tight. The way to pack for people on the go. We'll call tonight. If not, then tomorrow. Next week. Or right, next month. It's getting light. Close curtains tight. Sleep. Sleep. My love, you know, is absolute and would not hurt, although I fear there lurks a lout within that might, were I to linger longer. And we know that if I say goodbye, you'll scream, "Don't go." That is a true story, but not mine. That's not me in there. so,
Yep.
so we're talking. And then this is the last one, very short, called Ellipses. And that's going to be in the Duranda Review. They're out of Israel. So check them out. Ellipses. I can't. I must. I tremble. I faint. I wake. I will. I won't. I should. I can't. I must. I shall. I shake. I want. I would. I go. I wait. I knock. I enter. I do. I did. Thank God. Thank you so much for listening, Glenn, and everybody for being wonderful. You guys, everything is awesome today. There, now I've blown my wad. Thank you. Stop share. Okay.
That was absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. That the second to the last piece, that last line, when you say goodbye, I say hello. It sounded like the song lyric to me in my head. All right. Well, very, very short group, and we didn't even have to lose Gloria because she could only have stayed. So glad to have you for the whole time. And I will try to solve these email issues so that we have a bigger group next month. But thank you all for coming. I really appreciate that you've actually found the notice in your spam boxes. And we'll just move on. I'm not reading today. I've got some new pieces. They're marinating in a drawer. It's kind of my method. Stick things in a drawer and marinate it till I almost feel like I pick it up and read it anew, like somebody else wrote it almost, and then I can criticize my own work. And so I've been writing some fiction lately, which is pretty exciting. I have two books that are done that I am also marinating. So pretty fun. All right, God bless you guys. We'll see you next month. Keep your eyes out on that email.
Glenn.
I'm sure I'll figure it out.
Everybody be well.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Glenn.
Happy
Thank you,
fall.
everybody.
Yeah, thank you guys. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.